Hello, welcome to the Pretty Huge Dilemma podcast. I'm your host, Jacob Barrett. So it looks like I'm going to be doing this on a weekly schedule. At least that's what these two episodes are going to be. This one, I don't know, we'll see how long it goes, see how much my notepads of topics get us here. So this one, squeezing it in on Sunday. Um, just had time to do it, just got done working out, got some things done around the house and let's have time to record now. This recording took me a little bit longer to get to because as I'm getting back in the swing of things, trying to improve the setup for it. So now I'm trying to have my phone connected to my laptop, the microphone connected to the laptop, so that way it's not just a sideways video on my phone for it. And yeah, you can see more on my desk. You can see my different note sheets I have. I don't know if you're able to read them. When I look at the screen, I can't read them. And also looking at the screen is kind of distracting to me. Just looking back and forth, making sure I look okay in it, making sure I'm not too high in it, not too much to the left or the right. Because when I look at the phone, top of my head's cut off for it, but when I look at the screen, it's not. We'll see. This is just a ragtag operation, just getting things going, getting the podcast going. Maybe it'll become just an audio type podcast. No more visual effect for it, but then I won't be able to add in images, other graphics, like when I put in the Iowa score. So able to figure that out for it. Yeah, I realized again that the harder part of making a podcast is the editing portion of it versus the content part of it, because the editing might just be I have a slow computer. Maybe I got to update my computer. Maybe that's what the issue is, but I thought my computer runs fine. I think it has an i7 processor for it, not an i9. That would be crazy. I'm not that much into gaming yet, but maybe I need to update that for it because it takes a long time to get it in there. I had the two videos because my camera died. I don't have to worry about that now because the camera is connected to the laptop charging. But yeah, the editing takes longer, but thankfully I was able to do it all then, schedule things out, and it'll get posted on the days it gets posted. I think it'll be, when should I bump the episode? Tuesdays? Tuesdays or Wednesdays? Mondays? I don't know if that's too close together. But yeah, so I had the Iowa score in there. I was off by assuming that Iowa would lose by more. And they would have should have known it was going to be a heartbreaking, down to the last drive, defense not making a stop, field goal. But the total amount of points I was close on, so that's something. This isn't a sports gambling show. I don't think I've never placed a sports bet. Let me see. Well, one through like DraftKings and stuff like that. I mean, like with friends, but never on any of the FanDuel, any of those. Haven't done that. Haven't gotten necessarily the urge to. I don't think it'll turn into that, but they're throwing out a lot of money, so if they throw some this way, I'll just have to talk to my pastor and ask, is this okay money for me to take? I think it would be fine. Not promoting any irresponsibility. If it's responsible, they got the money set aside for it, they got that money situation figured out, why not? If it is fun for them to do, if it's something entertaining, then why not for it? Yeah, I would score close to that, but I'm now out on, not fully out, but cheering for teams specifically that I went to school for, Iowa, Florida. Iowa out of the playoff, they could still win like the next couple games, but honestly, you're not making the playoffs. Cool, there'll be some rivalry games. Nebraska, they're bad. So being Dylan Raiola, Matt Rule won't mean as much since the season's just, well, they'll go to some bowl game that no one really cares about. Probably, I don't know, Outback Bowl. That be, I don't think they're high enough to be in there because all of the good teams will be having playoff games. So I think maybe they'll sneak into the Outback Bowl again. In Florida, still bad. Still interim coach. I think they covered the spread against Ole Miss, but still bad. Maybe Lane Kiffin will go there now. That would be interesting to do. Lane Kiffin, they say he's a good coach, but I don't think he's ever won a national title. So I don't know why everyone wants him so badly, because he just ends up stabbing all the colleges in the back. That's what I not recall rumors, but that's what I'm not gonna say. Well, I guess I'll say the vibe of it. That is one of my least favorite words to hear because it doesn't mean anything. It just means how you feel. I think there's a better way to express that. Similar to how people say like. There are better words you can use. So many options to use, but maybe their reading comprehension isn't the highest. Maybe their reading level is pretty low, so they gotta use words like that. But that's okay. There are different sports happening now. Got UF basketball defending champs there. I think they lost already. Again, haven't been paying too closely. Once it gets to conference tournament time, NCAA tournament, then more. But for now, I'll use that as my excuse for who even cares about college football anymore. There's college basketball happening. Just follow that. Follow Florida. I don't know how Iowa team is doing, but the other big sport going on, Iowa women's wrestling, is back. Similar podcast, it is back. I haven't looked at the schedule for it. Maybe I'll put a star next to that note and say, look at the schedule, actually pay attention to it, and get updates on a more regular basis rather than just saying they're the best, which, I don't know, that's not taking too much of the dynasty into consideration if you're just saying they're the best and not paying attention to it. I don't know where their duels are at. I don't think any of them are going to end up being close to me at all for it, but that's okay. I just got deja vu. I don't really understand what deja vu is, but I feel that's 2 seconds ago. Nope. Not sure what's going to happen next unless someone comes through that door. Nope, it's locked. Yeah, anyway. Why am I... Okay, probably because it's first podcast. My computer had to go to the Best Buy, get a phone upgrade. That event, I knew it was going to take a long time to do. Between figuring out what the phone is, because once you get it from Best Buy, they're not the phone carrier, so they don't necessarily know what the next steps are. Then they had representatives from AT&T, but they don't want to risk to do anything. It's just, I don't know how AT&T decides who to have at their store who's not helpful versus having someone at Best Buy who's not helpful. I'm sure that's a hard decision for them to make, because the person at Best Buy said, well, you can do this step, this step, this step. I'm not going to click any of those buttons because if I do, then I'm liable for messing something up. But you're supposed to be the one that helps me, so why can't you do that? I don't know why that was the case, but it was way too long of time transferring everything, transferring the data. But meanwhile, it did give me time to walk around all the appliances, which going to Best Buy, I kind of forget, like, yeah, if I was to get an electronic thing, this is the place to get. It is surprising to see the washers, the dryers, and I said, like, whatever, who cares? They did have a lot of washers, dryers, stoves, refrigerators, stuff like that. But that wouldn't necessarily be a place that I would go to go get those appliances, because the people working there, they can sell them, but they wouldn't be able to give you as much as a background of this is able to do this, this is able to do this other option. This one is an alternative that you're looking for. Maybe if I knew which appliance I wanted, I want an LG whatever TV. Well, TV, Best Buy I probably know more about. But I want a Samsung refrigerator. And then I was shopping around that specific refrigerator a bunch of places, then I would consider getting it from Best Buy. But just going in there and telling a person, I need a new appliance, I wouldn't trust their input as much for that. Going through the computers, they're cool to see all the different kinds they have. I'm not the biggest computer guy. My computer I did get from going to Best Buy and asking them. I'm in graduate school, I need to be doing these types of computer simulations. What's the best one to get? And the one he pointed me to, I think he pointed to me just because it was on sale. I've never been a Mac guy. Always been Microsoft. But the computer I have, it's been working good enough for, I think, around 4 years. And it's still cooking. It's able to edit these videos, get them put out, and all the different things for that. I did see... TVs are a lot cheaper, so I'll be getting a couple upgrades of those in my office area so that way I can hang out here more and not leave the area. I did see when I was going through my computer at the backyard sports things and how to play it. I did notice I can play them. Well, it's not too surprising, but I can play them pretty easily through Steam. Again, probably late to this, but Steam you can just play a bunch of video games. I heard of Steam Deck from Dan Soder's podcast that he did with his fiance, Katie Nolan, where they were stuck somewhere because of the snow, and he was talking about playing a Steam Deck. I didn't really know what it was, but I guess you can just play a bunch of video games on it. Retro video games from the 2000s. So I saw they have 6 backyard sports games. 2 of them are free. Why did I count 2 like that? I don't like that. 2 of them were free. The hockey and basketball one was free to play. So I haven't played them yet, but I don't know. I don't see why not. I think growing up I played those. The basketball one, I think I did. The hockey one, I think so. But yeah, I'll get into those. The other ones, there are 4 other ones. They're like $10 a piece. So there's obviously a deal of $35 a total if you got the bundle pack of them. So we'll see if I end up doing that for Steam. It would be pretty cool to play those pretty retro. Not the newest games, but the newest games that come out, I don't play. I haven't played them. I don't think I would like them. Like the solo ones. I forget which one it was. I don't remember any of them. But my brother was playing it, and all he would do is he would play it on one screen and then had a YouTube walkthrough of someone else playing it and what to do, how to defeat the boss level, how to get the different items. That didn't seem as entertaining for me. For him, evidently it was, because he played it for hours every day. But just watching someone else play it and copying that, I guess you can do that if you don't want to spend all the time trying to figure it out yourself for it. But I like the sports video games more. Grew up playing those, and it's been a lot more video game talk than I thought it would be. Dan Soder, that's how I heard about Steam Deck. I think Golden Retriever Comedy Tour. I think he's coming to Texas. I think he said he released his second leg, which, I don't know, dog has 4 legs, so maybe he'll have 2 more legs for that. Maybe I'll go see him. I saw him before. He was funny in the area. He brought Brendan Sagalow for it. They were both funny, so maybe I'll go see them again. I don't know if it's a theater, though. Those comedy shows in theaters, well, yeah, theaters and arenas, once you get there, it gets pretty less personal, especially if you don't have the hundreds, $1,000+ to sit in the front row, and it's difficult to get up there for it. But I was able to, last weekend, meet one of my friend's kids. That kid was freshly born, a lot smaller than I thought a baby would be. Able to meet them, and I'm probably going to end there because that's not too interesting. Hearing about other people's kids, it's only interesting if it's your kid, and that's pretty much it. Baby was small. That's it. Okay, so I'm going to switch to what time? Oh, alright, good, plenty of time. Not an hour yet. We'll see if it's an hour for it. Let's see here. Basketball, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So, we recently did purchase a house. Yeah, move around these notes. Very official. Boom. They're out of order. Anyways, I hope you can't read them because there's some topics I might not get to that I'll get to the next one. I don't have them on a board behind. That's how I'm written out here. Very official. So, we bought a house. The process for it, pretty, I don't know, for us, I don't know if it was so eventful, but there were some funny things that happened in it, and I don't know, if you don't want to hear about home buying, and my wife is deciding to sing, well, hopefully she stops that soon, or the microphone doesn't pick it up, because it would not be good if someone heard that, or maybe she's going to hear me say that just then, that I heard her, and she can stop doing that. Good podcasting. Alright, so the process, I don't know, there were funny parts of it, so I'll just go through it because, hey, it's my life, my podcast, I'll say what I want to say on it. So we're going through the area. We've been in the DFW area for, I don't know, a couple of years after I graduated college. Moved here, worked here, and lived in a couple different apartments, tried out different areas, liked some areas more than others, some suburbs more than other suburbs, and we thought we had enough saved up. We had enough saved up around between the 10 and 20% that Dave Ramsey suggests for a house, and we had our emergency fund. That was kind of a given at this point for it. So we're looking around at houses. We need to find a realtor. Dave Ramsey has endorsed local providers for realtors, and we got a list of 3 of them. Talked with, I think, only 2 of them. Only met one of the realtor groups in person. So it's not a specific person. Well, the person you work with isn't necessarily who comes up on the endorsed local provider thing. It's the group they have. And I noticed that for the financial advisors as well. It's not, the person that comes up isn't the person. It's like they own a firm. And sometimes it is a person. And you can be paired with anyone inside of that firm. So we talked with a couple of the firms. We met with one couple of realtors and we liked them. We thought we were just meeting with them because, they work together. It'll be nice, since they work so closely with each other, to work with them. So we worked with them, and I don't know, I guess I didn't realize from the beginning, but I know the phrase, if you have 2 quarterbacks, you don't have any quarterbacks. This might be a similar case where if you have 2 realtors, you don't have any realtors. That's not necessarily the same correlation for it, but there was some difficulty with having 2 realtors, with knowing who to contact. Do I contact this person, or the other person? Do I send a text message to this person or this other person? Who's doing the paperwork for this? Is it one or the other? And sometimes I was repeating things to both of them, and the communication between them, I don't know, I guess some things not necessarily lost because they weren't like huge impactful things like, I wanted this house and no one knew about it. That wasn't necessarily it. They were good to work with. They knew a lot of stuff, what they wanted. And for realtors, and similar to the financial advisors, it's mainly like what the client wants and what we pushed for, what kind of houses we wanted, what kind of areas we wanted, and it wasn't as much input from them. They kind of just gave us access to their list of houses, saying these are the ones for sale. Go crazy, look at them. If you need more information, message us for it. It wasn't too many suggestions of, hey, you might like this house. Hey, you might like this house. It wasn't too much of that. We also didn't really have an idea of what kind of house we wanted. We didn't have the idea, we want a mid-century. We want this kind of layout. We want these kind of floors, this kind of kitchen. If it's not this kind of color paint or these kind of archways, deal breaker. There weren't too many of that. Deal breakers, if there's a pool, out. No pool. Pools are too much. Insurance, no thank you. We also didn't want electrical wires going through any parts of the yard. That, I don't know. Why did I say I don't know? I do know. The reason I don't like it, the electrical, I think there's something with the electrical currents and the magnets that come off of it. And we didn't like the way that they look, having to duck around to make sure things aren't falling on us. We didn't want to have to deal with that. So it's pretty free-flowing. A lot of it, we found a house, messaged them saying, hey, we're interested in this house. Can you send us this seller's disclosure of all the information that they have, any repairs, any roof leaks, any insurance claims, what kind of electricity do they got, what kind of furnace do they got, when was the water heater replaced, stuff like that. Which it would have been nice if we would just had access to those right away, where you can click on the listing, there's just a PDF that said, here's the seller's disclosure. Because after reading some of those, we could immediately rule some things out. There's a foundation issue, we really don't want to deal with it. We don't want to have to get the pier transferred in our name, constantly think, is this thing going to fall in on itself? We didn't really want to do that. So once we saw a seller's disclosure, some of the time we thought to ourselves, this might be worth the risk, this might not be. A lot of times if it was a nice neighborhood, house was in our price range, in the back of my mind I thought, there might be a reason, but I'll ask for seller's disclosures anyway. So I see why some people become their own their own realtor. Well, because they save whatever fees that are going to be paid, which you hear 3% and think 3% is not that much. But then when you're signing the paperwork, you see, oh, that's 3%. You only got to sell a couple houses a year and you're set. So I see why people do that for themselves, because they can just get all this information for themselves instead of having to ask constantly another person. And I don't know how difficult it is to find that seller's disclosure. Is it just a PDF link for them, or is it something more they have to go? Do they have to ask the listing real estate agent for it, or is it just on a website they can get to? I'm not sure, but I wish I would have had just the access to that, because I could have ruled out a number of houses for it. And sometimes just driving by houses can rule out going past them if you see a lot of people on the street, because pictures, a lot of people are better with photography, staging, lighting than I am. They can exclude certain parts that they don't want included in it, which, yeah, I guess that's the case for it. I wouldn't have necessarily thought of that, because I think, oh, everyone's just showing the best they got. Like, this is it. Nope, not the case. So we went through a couple, didn't take too long. Slight frustration just trying to see houses. When our open houses, a lot of areas. Some areas we want to live in, the house is way too old. And these hands aren't really made for that type of manual labor. Growing up, did not really do many house projects, some painting. There's a hole in one of our walls in the bathroom for, I don't know how long, years maybe? I don't really remember why that hole was put there. It was an on-purpose hole was put there. But didn't really learn much about house repairs, renovations, how to lay down vinyl flooring, how to change. I haven't learned how to patch a hole in drywall. But thankfully with YouTube, I don't know how people did home repairs before YouTube, because I have to fix something here. I'm 3 YouTube videos deep before I pick up a tool and get the background on it. And then once I do, it's pretty easy to go through and fix some of the time for it, if it's an easy fix. If it's something major where I start fixing something and then it's worse, that would be not great times for it. There are older houses. Some house we walked into, floors on level. Realtor said, this is the kind of house that a bigger corporation would buy, destroy, renovate, and sell that for a profit. Didn't really like that. Some real estate listings, I didn't know this, where they would just buy the house and sell it without any of the history of the house, because maybe the person didn't live there. There were a couple houses where people never lived there. They just bought the house. And on the disclosure, they would just put unknown, question mark. Is this thing leaking? Who knows? Could be, could not be. Up to you to risk it. And we didn't really like that part of it. It's not having a lived-in home where the issues of it aren't necessarily known for it. We did, I think it was only one house that we toured. We had signed a lead paint notice, so that was nice to see that there's still potential lead paint in some houses. Then we got the reassurance of, oh, as long as you don't eat the paint, it'll be fine. Well, sometimes it looks a little tasty. Sue me. But we had to do that for it. We did put an offer on one house. Well, it was a townhome area. We were going to it. We wanted to get it, put the offer in. And I knew this beforehand, before we put the offer in or toured it. We went through it, got to the end, put the offer in. Then I think after we did it, I told my wife that I was fairly certain that someone died in that house. I don't know what the laws are on disclosing that. Do they have to put it in the disclosure that someone died here? I think if it's only a result of a crime, like a manslaughter or a murder, whatever the differences are, those might be the same. I think only if it's one of those things they have to. But if it's someone who just died of old age, natural causes, which I don't know, not sure the definition of natural causes, whatever. They die in a way that their own body causes them to die instead of an external person doing it. So I was fairly certain someone died in that townhome. I was kind of joking about it. I don't believe in. Okay, well, it's how you define it. In ghosts of people who die and they haunt things. I don't believe in that. So I was okay with buying it. Ended up not getting it, which also not entirely upset about that. Because getting a house someone died in, it's hard not to bring that up. Not to go into a room and think, is this the room? Is this the room where, according to the obituary, his family was gathered around and he passed away peacefully? Or is this the room where the master bedroom, which someone is most likely to be sleeping in if they own the residence? Possibly that could be the case for it. So I thought that was pretty funny to do. Some people are more against buying houses people died in. I would buy some sage. I don't think sage does anything, but just for other people to feel better. I probably wouldn't do that either, but pretty much just for fun. As long as it's not the candles with all the polyphenols that are bad. I guess that's the case. I didn't burn much candles before, but I guess I can't walk into a Bath and Body Works anymore. I used to stick my nose right in those candles and smell all of them. Used to have a s'mores candle. That was like the best smelling candle I had. The entire house smell chocolate, marshmallow, graham cracker. Fantastic. Maybe you want to get a Graham Central Station shake with chocolate and marshmallow. Real bad, but not anymore. Then when we ended up getting a house, that transition process, it's a lot more projects than I thought it would be. Every weekend, it's a couple of things. It's, this thing's broken, this thing's leaking. There's water here. Like an Instagram reel I saw where it said, once you buy a house, you enter into a never-ending war with water. Trying to get water some places, trying to not get water other places. If something's leaking, you gotta change that. If water's not coming out of here, you gotta change that. Today, evidently our hose outside was dripping. Well, I had to watch 3 YouTube videos and go to Home Depot twice because I brought the wrong part to it that needed to get replaced. And Home Depot, the people there aren't as helpful as I thought they would be. Well, on TV, the commercials, not even commercials, they don't make the claim, but going there, we're a Home Depot family. Got orange, everything. That's, I think, because they're the closest. That's probably the case. Are they? I'm not sure if they are, but we did pick Home Depot versus Lowe's or Home Depot, which maybe we should have gone with more local place, because walking to Home Depot, they don't know a lot of what they're doing there. A lot of people I talk with, they're not doing home projects, building stuff. I ask them, where's this part? All they do is they open up the Home Depot app, type it in. Oh, that's in this aisle. Sometimes it's in that aisle, sometimes it's not. But I was hoping they would be a lot more helpful for the different aisles. There are a couple people, which that's kind of a funny part of it, is starting to know the Home Depot people better and better. Well, not really know better and better, but seeing them more regularly. And if I was to get a credit card, I think Home Depot would be a decent place to get one at and get some sort of rewards or discounts there. Not buying things because, I get the points for this, but more, I'm going to go to Home Depot, something's going to break. I'm going to need a couple of screws. I'm going to need this tool. Let's go there. Because we bought a mower. What did we get? Ryobi? Yep. Glad the neighbors walk past and see, this guy has an electric mower. He must care about the environment. Not necessarily the reason. More of, I don't want to have gas containers just in my garage where it gets way too hot in here. So we decided to do electric, and it's good enough. We don't got too much land. I don't know how much it is. I'm able to mow it still. So he's got some Ryobi gear, not gear, but equipment. Because at first, when we first bought the house, I had to rent through Home Depot. That was a little bit of a challenge because I don't have a big pickup truck with where I can just rent the lawnmower, throw it in the bed of the truck. It was more, is this lawnmower going to fit? Can the handle bend down? Can I pick it up without touching the blade and it scraping my hand and cutting my hand off? Sometimes, but other times a little more risky. And if I get this from Home Depot, it does have gas in it. One time I got a lawnmower that didn't work. That was pretty upsetting. I thought it didn't have gas. It did lead to me meeting one of my neighbors. I had asked him for gas because real man has a gas lawnmower. Fill up with gas. That ended up not being the issue, and had to go back there, and they gave me some electric lawnmower that was not good. The batteries kept dying. It was not very strong for it. We went there. They're not as helpful as I thought, because today we had a hose that was not a hose, but like the connection to it. I still don't know what it is. Is it outdoor hose? Outdoor faucet? I don't think it's maybe it's a faucet, because I don't think it's outdoor hose connection. That might be what it's called, but I had to get a washer there, which I had asked 2 people about where to find them. The second guy was able to help me for it, but trying to keep water out of places, trying to get new water heaters, new garage door openers, security systems, all that stuff going, just gets the house running. It makes me realize that I do not want to be a landlord, and realize how lucky I was as a renter with not having to worry about any of this stuff. I want to put coffee grounds down the sink every day. Want to put pasta down the sink? Who cares? Want to put excess oil, eggshells down there? Why not? Want to not clean things and let them run until they fall apart? Sure. Not having to get my own washer and dryer? Yep, that works. I mean, put in a work order for someone to replace a light bulb? Yeah, why not? I can't reach these ceilings. Do I need my water in the refrigerator? That purifier changed? Yep, get that changed. And I'm not going to do it. I'm only renting. But now, can't do any of that. Can't walk around anywhere in here and not think this could all come crumbling down at any second. You get one big storm, some electrical thing, just restart. Should probably take an inventory of everything I have for insurance purposes, because if I get one of those, I want to have all the information for it. But moving in, because you own the home, you can do whatever you want with it. You can paint any colors, any appliances, any kind of work you want, which kind of a downside when you move into someone else's house who just did all of that. They DIY'd whatever they wanted. The plumbing, the electrical things, there are electrical things all over the place. I don't know what they're connected to. I hope they're not connected to my Wi-Fi. Could be. Might have to take that into account for it when I look around. But the electronics could be connected to anything. The smells, I don't know what different smells are. I'm not 100% sure what gas smells like. Well, like the natural gas. I think it's supposed to smell like eggs and smell bad. I'm not 100% sure. If there's a maple sweet smell, I'm hoping that's just a candle or the flavored coffee I got. Which that flavored coffee is not as good as I was hoping it would be. It doesn't have the bite that other coffee does. Because when you drink coffee, it's like, which maybe that's the bitterness that I'm looking for. But it smells more like maple syrup more than it tastes like maple syrup. That's really the downside of it, because I taste them like, well, I'm about to drink. I smell the maple syrup. Is it maple? Yeah, I think it's a maple flavored, the winter Starbucks kind. But it doesn't necessarily taste like it. Maybe that's because it's not sticky like maple syrup, but it's not necessarily what I want it to be. Because I tried getting the pumpkin spice, just the coffee with the natural flavors of it, but the natural, I don't know what natural flavors do. They somehow don't change the nutritional facts of the coffee at all. I don't know how that's the case. But that kept being delayed and delayed and delayed. So I just cut it and said, maybe next year I'll do this for it. But it smells, I don't know, what's good smell, bad smell. Going up in the attic, all I know is it's hot in there, muggy. There's some insulation on the ground. I don't know what's going on there. Probably put stuff up there at some point, but for now, we necessarily don't have to. And now that's going to start freezing here and get colder. I don't know what we have to do. My Instagram algorithm is just house things, how to clean it, how to prepare for different weathers, renovations, mold. Like every other video is a mold video. It's a video of someone saying, this was our dream home and this is what happened. I was having headaches for weeks and didn't know why. My kid was not feeling good, but when we went on vacation, they were fine, but they come back and sick. I don't know. There's a mold dog. You can train a dog to smell or sense mold, and they'll just sit on it. Maybe that'll convince me to get a dog. If I get a dog that can smell out mold, maybe that's worth the investment. Or is there a different animal I could teach to smell out mold? What if I could teach bunny? They're not too long. A cat, pretty sure I'm allergic to. But I don't know, a horse wouldn't have that in this environment. Maybe there's a different smaller one that wouldn't have to necessarily get a dog. But maybe if it can smell out mold and save me some money and health problems, that would be beneficial to have some sort of dog that does that. But being cold, I don't know what these windows look like in the cold. I haven't tested those. The water leak from the hose thing, we were able to find that because of the cold, because we put a cover on it, and then when we took the cover off a couple days later, the area around it was wet. Image here or here, I'm not sure which one would be better, which frame is better for it. But the video on my computer screen does look better, so that's a good sign. And there's just water on the edge of it, and yep, war with water continues. Who's winning how many battles? Not sure it will ever end. Similar to the Inheritance book, the 4th book of the Aragon series. That book's never ending. 850 pages. I feel like I'm going nowhere with it. Read it for 30 minutes every night. I don't know how many pages others can read in 30 minutes, but going through all the words, all the different languages they got, which maybe that's increasing my reading comprehension level. Learning the different elvish, dwarfish languages that they have in there. But that book's taken me months to do. Thankfully, I didn't have to rent it from a library. I was able just to have it and do it that way, because I've been going at this book for probably months. I'll have to check my Goodreads account. It's been way too long. And the end of it, I don't know, hopefully it's cool. I don't have too much of an idea. I don't know if there's a movie, TV show that has it. Maybe just like the first book of it, but this TV series would be going on for decades if it went into all the detail that's in these books for it. But they would be able to figure it out if it was making money for them. But 850 pages, that's too long. Way too long for it. But that one and the hose connection, there's water around it. Yeah, just changed an O-ring out of it. Let's see here. Is there anything else that got going on? Oh, we had a water test come through. Someone from the Home Depot connection place. There's some third party place they work with. Because when we got the washer and dryer, hadn't had to buy one before. We haven't done too much of the Facebook Marketplace, secondhand type things. We've just been firsthand. We want it working. Maybe in the future when we get more aware of what to look for in good versus bad appliances and stuff like that. Or we just need more furniture stuff. Maybe we'll go more secondhand for it. But we got free water tests. That was pretty much just like, that was pretty much an in-person infomercial. I wish it would have been more like the NutriBullet infomercial. That one, I don't know why, but for whatever reason, I still remember that one. Because in the summer, it would go through the TV guide. Well, yeah, the channel with the TV guide of what's on what channel. And every once in a while, you would go there and it would scroll through all the channels. And at the top, they would have some sort of infomercial. And when it was the NutriBullet one, I would just stay and watch that. I wouldn't even look at what was on the other channels. I would just watch the NutriBullet one. They're making omelets, smoothie, chocolate mousse, all different things. Which I think they need to bring that infomercial back. Just on regular TV channels, make some new recipes for it. Which that's the other thing I saw on my Instagram feed. A lot of cooking type videos. Everyone trying to hide cottage cheese in every single dish they have. Cottage cheese, they're trying to put oatmeal in a bunch of things. Oh, you grind oats, you put eggs, you put 2 scoops of protein powder. Oh, this is 50 grams of protein. Yeah, that's obvious. You just have protein powder mixed in anything will get you that much. You just have the right flavor you want, you can get so many grams of protein in there. What else are people trying to hide in there? Baked oats, I see that. Eggs, I don't know what they're doing with eggs. I was able to pretty close to mastering eggs on a stainless steel pan. Well, just one form of eggs, an omelet. That's pretty much the only part that I've mastered. I haven't ventured out to the other ones, but cooking on stainless steel is pretty different than cooking on a non-stick, which trying to decrease the toxins here, which a lot of work. So many different things out there trying to get me. Some are succeeding more than others, but trying in other areas. With the non-stick, you can do whatever in there. You don't need to heat it up. You can throw eggs in there cold. You don't need to put oil down at all, which using oil versus butter, cutting down on saturated fats, seed oils, fine. Lane Norton, look at what he's posted for it. With stainless steel, you gotta heat it up so hot. You can't have it too hot. You can't have it too cold. You gotta have this amount of oil. You gotta have a certain kind of oil, and you want the higher smoke point. It was processed, and sometimes it was just stuck right on the bottom of the pan. Which, figuring that out for it, we had a water test guy. He was, I don't know, it was alright. I wish you would just come in, do the water test, here are your results. You obviously care about your water. This is what you can do. I didn't need too much convincing of, you needed an they call it softener, not purifier. I asked him what the difference was. There was some difference for it. This podcast is going longer than I thought, but it's okay. Water testing. I don't necessarily need the convincing of you need some water. No, water conditioning. That's what he called it. Water conditioning. It's like, what is this water going on a run or something? What kind of conditioning does this stuff need? But because we scheduled it, yeah, I want some sort of water and conditioning system. I don't need you asking me about how much water I consume, my price of groceries, what other hair care products, what kind of shaving cream I use. I don't need that. I just need to know the information of the water. What do you offer? What do you offer for a cash price, not financing? That's the information I want. Which I didn't have too high hopes because we didn't go out and look for this guy. I didn't vet too much of the company because it was a free test to do. And the information he gave, yeah, we'll get some sort of water conditioning system. When that is, hopefully sooner rather than later. Who it'll be with, not sure. Maybe Costco brand Eco Water, maybe the Halo 5. Plumbers, they didn't have too much input for it. They tried to say a certain kind is like, if you get this kind, you have to bury it in your yard. You get this kind, you put it in your garage. But they didn't have too much preference at least the ones I've talked with. But when Ron Patrick talks about getting a whole house reverse osmosis, that is way too much money for us right now. We need to get the under the sink one, which even that's still a decent amount. And I don't know how long we'll be in this house. We'll probably move a couple more times, which I realize that's something that people do that people have more experience with is not being in the same house their entire life, which some people have that one house their entire life, other people move around more. I don't know, it's pretty different. Realize all the different backgrounds people have for that. Water testing, I don't think we had much chlorine in our water. The hardness level, I don't know what it was. Didn't care too much for it. And all of his testing, he was trying to make like a magic show. Oh, I put these drops in here. Now it's under your sink. You can't see it. Oh, you still got laundry detergent in here. You need better water. What if I just added too much laundry detergent and not enough other stuff? How do we know it's the water? Then he tried to say, oh, there's all this stuff in the water zoomed in. Oh, there's this chemical, this one. Oh, this one, it's personal to me because my aunt, she died of this cancer. Then obviously I had to ask him, how do you know it was this chemical in the water and not any other millions, billions other factors that it could have been? And his response, well, I don't know for sure, but if I can eliminate something, I'm going to eliminate it. Yeah, obviously. But I heard sound. I think it's still recording. Yeah, we're fine. Water testing, not the most fun for it. I think I'll end it there. There are other things I have for it. Yeah, I'm not going to be a landlord. That's not for me. Not too much. The money, we won't get all our money back on this, which I thought of houses differently than I did initially. Of you buy this house for 500,000. Oh, the price goes up to 550,000. You get all that money back. No, it's more the interest part of it. I don't know how people do 30 years plus. You're pretty much paying double the amount for the house. 50 years? I don't know how you do all that. George Camel did a video on 50 years and how much that costs you. You're like paying double the amount of the house, I think. I don't know how you do that. So I started thinking of it as we're not going to get all of our money back, but we'll get some percentage of it back. Instead of renting 0%, we'll get some portion of it back. And we like the area for it. And it's, I don't know, it is our house. I don't know who let us buy this house. Who's loaning out this much money? For what? They have no clue what I do or anything. But here we are. New setting, new studio, new camera, new apps, new all that. And hopefully you enjoyed that episode. And I'll talk to you guys next time. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you like, subscribe, retweet, repost, tell your friends, tell a family member, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.